let's just dive into the first question though. The first one is, when did you first discover that you had artistic talent?
So I think, well, I didn't really discover it. I had to wait until other people told me. I just made stuff for fun, and I wasn't like, oh, wow, this is really good. So I was just making stuff for fun. So I know like as a little kid, like if my dad was working in a garage, I would work with his scraps and just learn how put nails and wood and stuff like that when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would always love Lincoln Logs, and I always loved Legos. And then when I got a little bit older, I wanted to remodel my room, but I didn't have any money. Mm-hmm. So I would keep all the cardboard boxes, and I would make little cubby systems out of cardboard boxes. And then I did that in college. And then I think it was after, when I was graduating with my BFA, I was just going to get a normal job. Mm-hmm. And then my name was brought up in meetings, and they're like, "Is Jeremy going to grad school?" That's an option. And then they were like, "Yeah, your stuff's pretty good. You go." So I was like, "Oh, well, thanks," because I know, in undergrad and stuff, I always had conversations with my professors, and they said, "Keep going, keep pushing." Mm-hmm. And then I think it was my capstone, which was my undergrad show. Mm-hmm. It turned out really nice.
Cool. Well, let's go backwards a little bit. So, because we're operating under the assumption that the audience knows exactly what kind of work that you do. So, have you always done? Well, I mean, when you were a little kid, putting things together and working with wood, and you're very handy anyway. But when did you start getting into ceramics? When did you decide that was your thing?
So we had an option to take art in high school, and I took CAD. So my 4 years of high school, I never took an art class. Mm-hmm. I just took CAD. So I was into architecture and engineering. Mm-hmm. And then the first two and a half years of college, I didn't touch clay yet. And then as I walked by, I think it was at Oakton, my professor there was Lou Perozzi. Mm-hmm. And I walked by just kind of walking around. Because when I drove to campus, even though it was community college, when I drove the campus, I didn't want to drive home for an hour and then come back. Mm-hmm. So I usually just hung out in the library or went to the cafeteria. But I was walking around, and I saw just in between the crack of a door, I saw a wheel and someone throwing, and I'm like, I could do that. And I signed up for a ceramics class, and I caught on really quick. Mm-hmm. So I was actually a sophomore or junior in college. Mm-hmm. I took my first ceramics class.
Cool.
Yeah. It was really cool. It was.
That's a great story. So ceramics, so you decided to go for your BFA when you were a sophomore. Actually, I did the same thing. What other classes did you take? Were there any other forms of art that you were like, this is amazing, I have to do this? Or was ceramics pretty much you were just sold and that was it?
Well, I mean, I really liked printmaking. Mm-hmm. So I got a print here. Mm-hmm. And then I liked painting, which I have a painting here that I did, but I don't know. I liked printmaking a little more because I think it had a carving process. Mm-hmm. And then I always liked sculpture too. So I like to make 3D objects. I'm not dissing 2D objects, but I think I was just more of a 3D person. Just because, earlier when I was saying if my dad was building an addition or hanging up drywall, I always asked if I could help. Or when he built the deck, I was like, can I help? So I think I was more of just seeing something become built out of multiple little pieces. Mm-hmm. So yeah, sculpture, printmaking, and ceramics, I think I really got interested in. So
you stumbled upon the wheel and were like, yep, I'm doing it. And then your professors were like, go to grad school. And you're like, all right.
Yeah. So
then you went to grad school at Northern, right? Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, so I was interested in architecture and engineering. So my first 2.5 years of college, those were the classes that I was taking. So I was probably the only person that graduated with an MFA that took, engineering and higher physics and calculus 2 classes, and all all my friends are like, why the heck do you have all those classes? I'm like,
what are you doing?
So yeah, it was when when I started with ceramics, I was like, man, I really enjoy this and I really like it. And parents hearing that you're going from architecture and engineering to art,
right?
They weren't
like, no.
Yeah, they're like, are you serious?
What are you doing?
Like, yeah. I'm like, I could still design stuff. I could still design a house or a building, or I don't know. So yeah. So yeah,
Your parents are like, so close, so close.
Yeah, and they're like pushing my sister. You gotta be a nurse. You gotta be a nurse. She's like, okay.
All right. So let's talk about your work though, because so you do hand building techniques. I've seen quite a lot of your work because you're one of our instructors at Water Street, but you also teach at various other schools. And a lot of the reason why we're doing this too is to introduce the instructors that are doing some virtual classes that are coming up. But if you have some describe the style of work that your current work, past work, I mean, wherever you want to go with that.
So I guess I could kind of talk to you about like the buildup of what my work has become.
Okay.
So again, I started ceramics really late. And then I think I only had like 2.5, 3 years of solid ceramics, accumulated before going to grad school. And then when I got to grad school, I was very overwhelmed and intimidated because everybody else in grad school, like, oh, how long have you been working with? Oh, I've been painting for 20 years. I'm like, holy, 20 years. I'm like, I feel like I just started. So I got very overwhelmed and intimidated. And when I started talking to some of my friends and like creating relationships and building friendships in grad school, I would figure out that, they've accumulated all this practice. So then I was like, ooh, practice. That's a word I'm used to because I played sports for, I don't know, about 18 years. So I played baseball for 18 years. And I was a pitcher. And I was like, oh, well, that's something that I have that nobody else has. So first I went from like my undergrad stuff. I did a lot of underwater series stuff where I was just playing with textures. And then when I got to grad school, I kind of made the same things. And then we had a critique. And they were like, you're making artwork look like artwork. And I was like, ooh, crap. Like, you're not supposed to make art look like displayed art. I was like, I guess I could see that. And then there was one piece that I made. I made like a self-portrait out of a juggling pin. So I made a 5.5 foot juggling pin out of accumulated pieces of ceramics.
I want to see that. Do you have photos of it?
I think I could find a photo of it. So if you see here, so yeah, it just looks like a juggling pin. So I made that and I called it self-portrait because I'm a juggler. I tried out for the circus. I like performance. This is one of my circus series prints of.
Wait, back up.
You didn't know that?
No.
No? Man. All right. Going off tangent again.
No, these are good tangents. You can't just drop stuff like that. I thought you were joking at first. I'm like, wait, did I just hear that? Wait, hold on. So wait, you tried out for the circus? When did that happen?
Yesterday. 2009.
So
yeah, so
just a little over 10 years ago.
Yeah, so I taught myself juggling. I taught myself how to ride a unicycle and balance things on my chin. And I've always, I was a Three Stooges fan, so I was always doing slapstick comedy. And yes, I'm a fan of Jim Carrey, even though a lot of people don't like his acting. I do like his physical humor.
Yeah.
But I tried out for Ringling, and it was their first open audition in that past 10 years. It was at Allstate Arena. I used to work at Allstate Arena, so I knew the place, I knew the location. And then I brought my neighbor. I took him out of school. I took my neighbor to try out with me. He was a little too young, but he was there for support.
Nice.
I got a second audition, and I was top 13 out of 450 people from around the United States who tried out for Ringling Brothers.
Wow, that is quite an accomplishment. Holy
But
smokes.
I didn't make it.
Well, very close though. Very, very close. And that's still a pretty amazing accomplishment.
So I tried out to be a transition clown. So the clowns that run around and do little acts and do little comedy skits while they're setting up other things. So if they're setting up, where the motorcycles go around in the sphere, like a lion cage. So those things are.
Where you're juggling and balancing?
Yeah, we could add a video in there.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I got some on
Caitlin
my
at
Instagram that I could.
She's your director.
Yeah. So
do you perform for your family?
Yeah.
For the kids?
I juggle for the kids and stuff. But I don't put on like skits or anything.
No. He rides his unicycle to the grocery store.
But yeah. So I was really interested in all that stuff. And
okay. Let's go back to your work now. Okay, so now that we've established that this actually happened and you have all these other amazing talents. Okay, so let's go back to your work then.
So right after that, what I did with the circus series is that I kind of put my emotions and my feelings from not making it in the circus, and I made a series of 5 prints. I have them actually all hanging up in the house. 5 prints of first-person perspective of what people do in the circus. Not saying that I would do trapeze, but it would be pretty cool to try it. But I have some where there's an elephant, there's 2 hands opening a lion, there's 2 hands opening the lion's mouth, there's jugglers, and then there's a clown car. Wow. So I do have some things, and it was kind of like it was like art therapy a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So I really like that series because it's like a personal connection with something that I could have done. Yeah,
and these are the works behind you said?
Yeah, so that's this one.
And what's
it's a wood block.
Okay.
With the 3-color reduction wood block.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's kind of hard to see all the detail, but wow. Okay. Man of many talents. Okay, so that's your 2D work, but let's go back to your 3D stuff, which is also equally as impressive. So we're on your journey. You didn't make it into the circus. Almost made it into the circus. So far, so let's back up here. You were almost an engineer. You were almost in the circus, and now you're a ceramicist. So how did you get on that path?
So I continued making art in undergrad, and then they had a meeting and said, hey, you should go to grad school. Then I got accepted to grad school. And then I continued with ceramics, and I had wonderful teachers there that kind of pushed me in different directions and made me think about things. But I always brought in athletic ability back into my work. So that's why, since I was an athlete and I like to perform, I want to do performance art. So I tried to create something that I've had years of practice for. So I did a performance piece called Throwing versus Throwing, which I throw a bunch of pots and I put them in a cubby system that's on the wall. And I make molds of half baseballs. Okay. And then I could send you pictures and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then I would do a performance where I am pitching these clay baseballs at these pots, but I'm aiming for the strike zone, which is empty. But sometimes I throw a ball that misses and it explodes and it destroys the pot. So we could look through a bunch of pots and you'll be able to see holes that are blown through, and the audience enjoyed that part more because they enjoyed me destroying my artwork rather than me creating just like this lump of clay in the middle that I was aiming for. Because as a pitcher, that's your goal, is to get it in the strike zone. So then I just accumulation of form, accumulation and repetition of a body movement. So then I started to just form assemblages of cups, because I always like to throw on the wheel. So I would throw on the wheel and then I would just smash it and break it because I wanted to get better. So it doesn't
and that in and of itself is really therapeutic too, I think.
Oh yeah, the wheel. Yeah.
No, smashing and breaking.
Oh yes. Yes, of course. I bring more beauty to it when I smash it because something happened. And I like looking at something that you could see something that's happened, like a painterly thing. I don't like paintings that look crisp. I like it where you could see the motions and the movements. I love sketches. I love looking at things where you could see how the artist is thinking. But when you look at something that's so perfect and that's so nicely blended, it takes away all of that, you know, the hands-onness of the artist. And it's like, oh, well, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. I like clumpy, glumpy, kind of like painterly, whatever. Just throw it on there. So I found out that, yes, I like to make stuff and break it. But then when I break it, I like to try to find the beauty within it and then recreate that and like expose that. So like when I'm sitting on the wheel and I throw 100 cups, then I smash them into this box and then I open up that box and then I get my piece. And then I did that for a little while and then I cut one in half and I really like the line work that it created. So like you could see with this guy right here, so this, I know there's a cardboard thing because I'm making a project for my students, but this right here is the line work off of one of those pieces.
Oh, wow.
And I really like the line work on how all those cups interconnect. So it's, yeah, it's not just
but it's not arranged. It's just you break it, you throw it in the box, and then you open it up, and it's just how it naturally lands haphazardly. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's just the smashed thing of all these cups, and then I cut open, and then it reveals all the cups and how they locked into each other.
Cool.
So then I cut them open, and then I create these cubes, and these cubes have line work that are on the ends that are exaggerated with glaze to kind of show like the inner workings of how things are connected rather than how things are covered up.
So, you know, you actually really are working two-dimensionally though too. So you're combining the two things and okay, very cool. So
yeah, I'm taking a 3D form, I'm cutting it, and then I'm exposing the 2D line work on it, and then like doing these little rubbings. Or like the ink transfers.
So are you doing that now, or is this something that you were doing previously? Is this kind of what we still on your journey?
Well, I'm kind of still interested in that. So I do have, so I have this box. So like as I'm smashing all these pieces together, so like I'm coming up with like these little things. I know you can't see it 100%.
No,
but this right here is just a little cutout of what a bunch of smashed cups look like. So then I find like this nice, cool line work and folds in it, and I cut that out, and then I'm trying to recreate these larger out of the wood pieces. Because I recreated these for my graduate show, my thesis show, but just making something 5 feet tall out of clay is very brittle and very heavy. So I thought maybe I could try to do something with a different material. So I do work with wood and make these large wood sculptures that mimic the line work and the forms and the shapes of these thrown cups. So I still use clay as more of a sketching material, and then that is like a little maquette for a larger wood piece. So the one that I'm currently working on is this one.
Oh, wow.
So it's a sculpture that will stand up like this. So I want to make this about 6 feet tall. So right now I'm cutting out all the wood pieces and layering them to make them this tall. And I'll go through one by one and I'll jigsaw them open, layering them, and then I'll go in and grind and fold and put all these folds in there and create this shape. And then I'll do the same thing where I will put a coat here, and then I'll put like a colored stain on this side right here, so it kind of emphasizes the line work within these folds.
Yeah. So how many pieces would you say would comprise that whole piece once it's finished?
Pieces of like plywood.
Oh, pieces of wood, because you said you're piecing them together and
so I'm layering the wood.
Right. So
I think it. Well, I mean, I use probably 3/4 inch wood plywood. Because if you're using smaller ones, you have to cut more, and they're not as stable. I use the thicker wood. So, I mean, it could be, 120 to 150 sheets that are stacked up on top of each other that I'm carving through and going through after I glue them. And I might have some sort, if it's that narrow, I might have to make some sort of base stand for it.
Yeah.
But I've made one, and I'm working on 2 right now. They do take a long time to make.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all these things I didn't know about you.
Sorry to surprise
No,
you.
don't be sorry. This is the point of this. It's incredible. I love it. But let's talk about your throne work too, because I know that the wheel is like an extension of your hands.
Yeah.
So you want to talk more about that?
So like with wheel throwing, I caught on really quickly, and all my teachers, like my first ceramics teacher was like, "No, you've thrown before," and all this stuff. And I said, "No, I've never done this before." So I caught on really quick, and then I get excited with combining pieces and finding textures. But now what I'm doing is I'm trying to find something that again reveals something a little extra. So I know I have this pot back here, and probably just leave it right here. This isn't bad.
Yeah.
So as you lift this up, I wanted to make it where you have something that reverses, and then you could have like a little extra top part to it. So I'm making a couple of these guys where they have like these flip lids. So I know it'd be a little bit about like a technical achievement, and then also about play. And I think I want to see if I can make a system where I could pull up on it, flip it, and then have another lid come out, and flip that one. So I'm thinking about like interlocking lids, kind of like how you could lock a lid to a teapot and pour it. So I'm thinking about something like that. So it is kind of like engineered. It is kind of like an architectural form. I do like throwing. I just like making it. I wish I could have somebody glaze them.
You don't like glazing?
I just want to make it when it's already made, and then you're like, God, now I gotta glaze it. Oh my God, I just want to make another one.
Well, this is what assistants are for.
Yeah.
Or interns, right?
I tried.
She tried.
No, this video is going to expose you as the amazing talent that you are, and people are going to be lining up to be your intern, and it's going to happen. They'll do it for you.
Yeah. So like as you say that, I was talking to Jim today, and I think one of my biggest I don't want to say fantasies. But like what I would really like is to be a part of a team that makes something. So like me, myself, I could only get so far with my art, especially if I'm not dedicating it as a 24/7 thing.
Right.
I mean,
most of us can't do.
Yeah, we have a family. We foster 3 kids. We have 2 dogs. I have several jobs, and I'm trying to build programs for several different places. And it's very hard to do that and just concentrate and explore just my own little work. But I like it when other people, you could bounce ideas off of somebody else. Everybody has their own little techniques, and they have their technical skills, and they have their whatever it's called. They have their
expertise.
Thank you. Yeah. So I wish I could come together in a group. We are presented a problem and we solve it. We figure out the problem, and then we build the sculpture. Or we, build the building, whatever we need to do to solve that problem. I think, multiple minds and multiple heads is better than one. And I know I'm not going to be like a Jeff Koons, where I just have millions of dollars to make all these pieces and pay all these people. But I would love to be a part. You
don't want to be Jeff Koons anyway.
No, I don't want to. Well,
I'm like, no.
Do I consider myself a professional artist?
No,
I don't know if I want to be a professional artist where that's all of that I do. Because then I'm going to have to dismiss everybody else around me and just demand things from people.
You don't want to have a factory, is what you're saying?
No, I'll be a part of a factory, but I want to be one that's making. I don't want to I don't want to deliver an idea. And I think that's might be why I kind of like got away from architecture. Because I love designing houses. I love doing all that stuff, but my hands aren't in the material. And I just like
you want to build it.
Yeah, I want to be a part of both.
Yeah. Well, who's to say we can't make this happen at Water Street?
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome to see if we could, like the big, like I know you guys are doing the things with the art pieces and the murals that you guys have in between all the windows, where you have artists do that. And then I know you guys on the other side of the building have different pieces from separate artists, but it'd be cool to have all the artists come together and create something and then display that somewhere, put it somewhere.
Yeah, no, we don't currently have a project where it's just the resident artist working on stuff. That's not happening. We should make that happen.
I think that'd be cool.
I'd be interested. Even
if it's just like, I don't know, building a pergola or something. It's just whatever it is, let's get together. Because I just love being around people. I don't think I could be a solo person locked in the studio by myself. I need to be around people. I need to bounce off ideas and just work together. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I go through various stages. Sometimes I need to shut out everybody, and other times, like now, actually, I need to talk and formulate ideas and think about something new, which is why I'm at Water Street too. So yeah. No, that's really exciting. I think we should do it. And the weather's getting nice, so I mean, could be, and plus we're going to have to socially distance and all that stuff anyway. So we should do something. In fact, I was talking to Victoria a couple days ago, and she was saying that she would love to do this huge installation piece with her glass down by the river, or like just do something. And you're always talking about with our. Well, how many kilns do we have now? 3 that are defunct and waiting to be Ratcoo kilns. Yeah. I need them out of the storage area. We should put them down by the river. A pit fire. I almost knock them over every time I walk in there. No, we should do it. I mean, why not? I like it. I think a lot of when you were saying how you kind of have to like separate yourself sometimes to get in your studio. Yeah. So like my separation is just trying to find a time when other people are able to be separated, which is usually when others are sleeping. So like sometimes I'll wake up, like I know she doesn't know yet, and I know she's in the room, but I have an alarm set for 4:30 tomorrow morning to go in the basement and throw. Because I know I'll at least have 3 or 4 hours before people start getting up. Right. So that's usually when I try to do my solo time.
That's right. I let you throw whatever you want. Don't have to wake me up for it though.
So, yeah. Usually it's the sleep or art, and I usually try to lean towards the art.
Yeah. Well, do it while you can, Yeah.
Lean towards the sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've covered quite a bit. I don't know. How are we on time? Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're at 30 minutes almost. So, all right. Well,
but you'll have to edit all of this out anyway, right?
No. No, we're keeping all of it. This is the interesting stuff. We might have to do a separate podcast just on the circus.
Yeah. So I have a couple things for social media. Okay. So I do have a website. It's jeremyfoy.com. It's just my name. It's very interesting that my mom has asked me multiple times what my website is. It's Mom, it's the name that you wrote on my birth certificate. It's jeremyfoy.com. And then for Instagram, I think it's just Jeremy Foy, like Jeremy_Foy. And then I also have an Instagram for Water Street Studio Ceramics. Okay. So throughout the classes that I teach there and the workshops that I teach, I do post videos and when the kiln's loaded and unloaded so people can see the process of their work. So I do have all of that there. So you can kind of like stalk and see what we've done within the Water Street Studios ceramics community.